Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes saying no to what's easy is the only way to say yes to who you truly are. We live in a world where comfort is often mistaken for success. The paycheck, the fame, the recognition, all of it can make you feel like you're winning. But deep down, when something doesn't align with your soul. That was me when I got that offer. $14.5 million for a movie that looked just like the last 5 I'd done. On paper, it was perfect. But in my gut, I knew it wasn't. It was safe. It was comfortable. It was more of the same. And sometimes the same is the enemy of growth. It's seductive. It tells you, stay here, this is working. But comfort can be a trap disguised as success. I realized that if I said yes to that movie, I wasn't just saying yes to another role. I was saying no to the change I needed, no to the challenge I craved, and no to the man I wanted to become. So I said no, and it wasn't easy. My agents thought I was crazy, my friends couldn't believe it, and even I had doubts. But I knew one thing for sure. If you keep choosing what's easy, you'll never find what's extraordinary. That no became a line in the sand for me. It wasn't about walking away from money, it was about walking toward meaning. When you say no to what's convenient, you make space for what's right. You give yourself a chance to grow, to rediscover your hunger, to find your purpose again. Saying no isn't rejection, it's self-respect. It's choosing to honor your future over your comfort zone. And that's where real success begins. Comfort doesn't always mean growth. In fact, comfort can be one of the biggest obstacles to becoming who you're meant to be. When things are easy, when life feels predictable, it's tempting to stay there, to keep doing what you know works. But the truth is, growth doesn't happen where it's easy. It happens where it's uncertain. It happens in the moments when you take a risk, when you step out of what's familiar and dare to see what else is possible. When I was getting those offers for the same type of movies over and over again, I realized something. I wasn't growing anymore. I was repeating myself. The scripts were fine, the paychecks were great, but the challenge was gone. And when the challenge disappears, so does the spark. You start to feel like you're living the same day over and over again, just dressed up in different clothes. That's not living, that's existing. So I had to get uncomfortable again. I had to say no to what was easy so I could rediscover what made me hungry, what made me work, what made me wake up with fire again. And let me tell you, that wasn't an instant reward. There were months, even years, where I questioned that choice. But growth takes time, it takes patience, and it takes the courage to sit in the unknown. Comfort might make you feel secure, but it will never make you fulfilled. Growth, on the other hand, asks for sacrifice. It asks you to trade certainty for discovery. But that's where life gets interesting. When you lean into the discomfort, when you challenge yourself again, that's when you grow. That's when you evolve. That's when you start to truly live. There comes a point when you have to decide what your values are really worth. Everyone talks about integrity, about staying true to yourself. But when the stakes are high, when there's a big check on the table, that's when you find out what those words really mean. For me, turning down $14.5 million wasn't about arrogance or ego. It was about alignment. I had to ask myself, what kind of man do I want to be? What kind of work do I want to be known for? At that time, the scripts coming my way were the same. Predictable, repetitive, safe. Sure, the money was great, but if I said yes to that, I was also saying no to myself. I was saying no to growth, no to change, no to challenge. I realized my career, my life had become too comfortable. And comfort can slowly erode your passion if you let it. It's a quiet thief. You don't even feel it happening until one day you wake up and realize you're uninspired. So I had to stand for something for myself. Saying no wasn't easy. There were moments I questioned everything. There were people who thought I was crazy, that I'd ruined my career. But here's the thing, if your values only hold when it's convenient, they're not values, they're preferences. True integrity is tested when it costs you something. That decision to walk away didn't close doors. It opened new ones, the right ones. It redefined my path and reignited my purpose. Sometimes you have to bet on yourself, not because it's the easy thing to do, but because it's the only way to stay true to who you are. And that's a bet that always pays off in the long run. Patience is one of the hardest things to practice in a world that moves fast. We're wired for instant gratification. We want the reward now, the recognition now, the results now. But life doesn't always work that way. Success doesn't always show up on your schedule. Sometimes you have to step back, slow down, and let time do its work. When I turned down that $14.5 million, I didn't wake up the next day with a better offer or a clear path forward. What I had was silence, a long stretch of uncertainty where nothing seemed to move. Those months tested me more than anything else in my career. There were days I questioned myself, wondering if I'd made a mistake. But here's what I learned. Patience isn't about waiting around. It's about trusting the process while you keep working. It's about believing that your worth isn't defined by how quickly things happen, but by how steadfast you remain when they don't. That period of waiting became one of the most defining times of my life. It taught me that sometimes doing nothing is actually doing something, when that nothing is choosing not to compromise. It gave me space to reflect, to rediscover what I truly wanted to do and who I wanted to be as an actor and a man. When the right roles finally came, I was ready, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They didn't come because I chased them. They came because I had the patience to wait for alignment instead of desperation. So if you're in a season where things feel slow, where it feels like nothing's happening, don't lose faith. Be patient. Good things take time, but great things take persistence. And when they arrive, you'll know the wait was worth it. At the end of the day, life's not about how much you make. It's about what you stand for when everything's on the line. Sometimes the biggest wins come from the hardest no. You've got to know who you are, what you believe in, and have the courage to protect it, even when it costs you. Because the truth is, every choice you make shapes your future. And when you stay true to yourself, when you choose purpose over comfort, values over validation, you don't just build a career, you build a legacy. Stay patient, stay grounded, and trust that the right doors will open when you're ready to walk through them.